Welcome to Shad's Guitar Show. Whether it's the gear or the players who made the gear famous, join me each week as we discuss all things guitar. Well, hey there everyone, and welcome into another episode of Shad's Guitar Show. We are well underway in 2026, and I hope everything is going awesome for you. I actually just finished winding a set of P90s for a custom build that I'm doing for a customer of my brand Retro Sound. And we were discussing different magnet types to put in the pickups for him. And I thought, as I was kind of discussing with him some of the ins and outs of the pickups and how the magnets affect things, that would be an awesome topic for the show. So today we're going to dive into Alnico magnet types and kind of take a look at what they do, how they affect the tone, and just generally what each type of magnet offers in terms of tone. If you've ever swapped pickups and thought, why does this one feel sweeter or tighter or louder? Chances are you were hearing, at least in part, the magnets. Today we're diving deep into Alnico guitar magnets, what they are, how they're made, and why Alnico 2, 3, 4, or 5 each have their own unmistakable voice. So what is Alnico? Well, Alnico is an alloy. Its name comes from its primary ingredients, aluminum, nickel, and cobalt. Depending on the recipe, small amounts of iron, copper, and titanium are added. What makes Alnico special isn't just that it's magnetic, it's how it behaves magnetically. All right, so let's nerd out for a minute and get into the mechanics of making a magnet. So the first thing that is done is all of the raw metals are melted together at extremely high temperature to form the Alnico alloy. Then that is poured into a mold. Next, the magnets are heat treated to align the internal crystal structure. This step heavily affects magnetic strength and tonal behavior. And lastly, the magnets are charged in a strong electromagnetic field. Some pickup makers undercharge magnets on purpose to soften the tone, just like decades of natural aging would. So the magnets influence the overall output, attack and compression, bass tightness, high-end response, and dynamic feel. Stronger magnets don't automatically mean better. In fact, too much magnetic pull can choke the sustain and make the pickup feel stiff. All right, so let's break down the classic Alnico types. We'll start with Alnico 2. Alnico 2 is warm, sweet, and forgiving. Its magnetic strength is low. The feel is soft, compressed, and touch sensitive. Alnico 2 is famous for warm mids, round highs, loose musical bass, and a great bloom to the note attack. This magnet doesn't yank the string very hard, so notes feel elastic and expressive. Common associations with this magnet type would be found in vintage PAF-style humbuckers, great for blues, classic rock, and jazz. Alnico 3 magnets are clear, open, and woody sounding. The magnetic strength is very low. In fact, in the bar form, it's the weakest Alnico magnet that we can use. Oddly enough, in the rod form, it's actually stronger than A2, but in the bar form, weaker than A2. The feel is extremely dynamic and open. Alnico 3 is fascinating because it has very little magnetic pull, produces exceptional clarity, emphasizes natural string tone. The bass is softer, the highs are sweeter, not sharp, and the mid-range feels completely uncolored. Common associations would be early Fender-style single coils, especially vintage Telecaster bridge pickups. Found in, a lot of roots, Americana, and early rock and roll tones. The tone is airy, woody, and honest. You hear the guitar more than the pickups. Alnico 4 is the balanced middle child. Magnetic strength would be medium level. The feel is even, focused, and articulate. Alnico 4 sits right between A2 and A5. It offers tighter bass than an A2, more mids than an A5, clear highs but without harshness. It doesn't compress as much as an A2 and it doesn't punch as hard as an A5. Instead, it stays balanced across the frequency range. Common associations, you can find A4s oftentimes in boutique-style humbuckers, vintage hot PAF interpretations, players who want clarity and warmth. It's a focused and articulate and refined tone. The A5 magnet is bold, tight, and powerful. The magnetic strength is fairly high. The feel is fast, punchy, and immediate. Alnico 5 is the most widely used magnet today, and for good reason. It delivers strong lows, bright cutting highs, higher output, and tighter response. The downside, if not balanced properly, it can sound stiff or strident. Common associations with this magnet type would be in modern Strat and Telecaster pickups, hotter humbuckers, and it's great for rock, funk, country, or modern blues. It sounds immediate, has a piano-like bass, a sparkle on the top end, and generally is great for cutting through dense mixes. There is also the Alnico 8, and there are ceramic magnets, but I think most players live in the A2 through A5 world, as most boutique pickup makers are using those Alnico types in their pickups. And I think most of us are looking for a tone that's within that range. And one interesting thing that some pickup makers are doing now is degaussing the magnets. So vintage pickups sound magical for probably a lot of reasons. I mean, not always, but there are a lot of great examples of vintage pickups that just sound really, really good. And some of that has to do with the aging magnets mellowing over time. As Alnico slowly loses a bit of charge, we find the high ends seem to soften, the mids feel sweeter, and there's this really open and uncompressed sound. And that's why some builders partially degauss the magnets to create that played-in effect in their pickups. All right, so there is no best magnet type, and the takeaway here is that magnets don't determine good or bad tone, only the character of the tone. And we can summarize that A2 feels warm, A3 has a lot of clarity, A4 is very balanced, and A5 typically has that punch and authority. Your guitar, your amp, your hands, all of that matters and enters into the equation. Magnets just tilt the playing field in a certain direction. So the next time your tone-chasing buddy talks about a set of pickups that he particularly likes and how great they sound, ask him what magnets are in it. All right, so if you've enjoyed this dive into the magnetic side of tone, make sure to subscribe, share the episode with a friend, follow me on socials, and you know what? Leave a comment and let me know what pickups you're playing right now. What type of magnets do you typically like and why? And until next time, keep chasing tone.